Okay, we have 61 participants.
Woohoo!
Oh.
Okay. So people are getting impatient. Sorry, not rushing you, but they are messaging
I've just been
me
frantically sending links because people can't function. They're just like, "Where's the link?" It's like exactly on YouTube or
All right, here we go. I'm
All right,
admitting
guys.
All right.
Hello.
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 Can you?
Welcome. Everybody's joining. Just going to give everyone a minute. Just in the next few minutes, people continue to. Hello. Good evening. Hello, everyone.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I want to remove the pin so I can see everyone just before we begin and see everyone's face or whoever is showing their face anyway. Hello, Betty. Hello, Betty. Oh my goodness. So, we have Kim coming in. Okay. Okay, we just have a few more people coming in. Just a little bit of patience. Give me one more minute just to let whoever else is coming in come in, and we will begin. How's everybody feeling?
Wonderful.
Intense energies afoot.
Good.
But we're gonna make it. We're gonna be just fine.
Oh, hi, Muriel. Hello,
Okay.
Chris.
All right. Wow. It is so amazing to see how many people have come together for this vision, this dream seed came through and manifested through myself and Arietta and Marie and Isis in the last 10 days. And so it really is just a beautiful reminder for me, the power of following through with intentions. And so I thank you. I say all that to just thank you all for being here. I'm so excited to be able to co-create this space with you and for the offering that we are going to be offering you all today. I'm so excited. So we're going to begin now. I will keep my eye on the waiting room. But just to give a little bit of okay, now I'm going to pin. To give a little bit of a background on myself, my name is Pratibha Devi. Some of you know me by Dola or Condola or Philia. All the names are my names. And I am Pratibha Devi. And I have worked and offered as an artist for pretty much my whole life, performing artist, theater and film and music and television. And within the past 2 years, my spirit has called me forth in different ways, as I will always be an artist. And I'm very excited to be able to continue sharing my art and also the structures of what is known as Hollywood were no longer serving. And I didn't feel that it was authentic to continue in the way that I was. So I have been moving in a new way. And now it is a great honor that I'm able to offer as an alchemical astrologer, as well as my art, and as a crystal energy healing facilitator. So, how we all came here today was I was actually going over, I offer, there's a dear friend of mine, Amaya Cohen, she has a space called Temple of Devotion. And she's asked me to be basically the resident astrologer. So I do every month I offer a monthly astrological current, the cosmic currents is what I call it, to her temple. And as I was doing the cosmic currents for November, I saw a synchronicity that was happening with the movements of the planet, certain transits that were happening simultaneously, that was too strong to ignore. And I felt a roar. And there are certain reasons as to why I thought that I felt and heard a roar, as we will be dealing with the archetype of Leo. But when I really sat with it, it was very specific, and it was Sekhmet. And I saw and felt this image of these lionesses coming together, bringing their prides together, so that Sekhmet, in her expression as guardian of the heart, could be reawakened within the hearts of whoever would be participating directly. So naturally, when I saw certain faces who I felt were involved, Arietta, Marie, and Isis, I reached out to them, and I was so fortunate that they were moved to be a part of this. And here we are. And so I'm going to be diving more into the astrological piece. But first, we have the great fortune and honor to receive a grounding meditation from Arietta Love. And so, without further ado, Arietta, please help us to ground.
Welcome, welcome everyone. And can I please ask you all to mute yourselves? Okay, thank you. And if you can do it, maybe you can do it, Pratibha? Mute everyone.
Oh, yeah. Did it.
Oh, wait, now I can't hear you.
Ah, yes, because I was muted too. So what I said was I will introduce myself later. Let's first start with grounding. Okay, so maybe you want to close your eyes, maybe you want to keep them open. Whatever you choose, bring your awareness inwards. Allow yourself to dive in deeply, becoming aware of your body, and may the breath help you with this. So the next inhale, imagine you breathe in love or whatever it is you need, chi, prana, life force energy, and you breathe it into your lungs, into your heart, into all the cells of your body. And the exhale comes naturally, so don't wait for me. And the inhale is as deep as comes naturally for you. Imagine you breathe in prana, love, light, fire, whatever it is you feel drawn to, peace. And exhale at your own pace. Breathe in and imagine that while you breathe in, anything and everything that is not for the highest good of you will leave your body, your system, your aura on the out-breath. The next inhale, breathe into your heart. And then breathe out from the heart through the chakras below the heart. Imagine you breathe out all the way through all layers of Mama Gaia, connecting from your heart to her heart with your breath, your sacred breath. It's the bridge from your heart to her heart, and feel her heart, connect to it consciously. Feel her support, connect to her unconditional love, her wisdom, her fire, her waters, her crystalline grids, her strength, and recognize this is present in you as well, and breathe all of this in. Receive as you return with your in-breath into your heart. And then you exhale from the heart, through the chakras above the heart, through the chakra tube, expanding beyond the crown, into the cosmos, connecting to all planets, star systems, galaxies, universes. And imagine you connect this way to Source, the one eternal primordial source. And thus to your own divine blueprint as well, your origin, your mission, your being, and your reason for being. Connected to these frequencies, these codes of Source. Imagine you breathe anything and everything that is for you. You breathe it in straight into your heart, expanding the heart this way even more. Fully grounded, fully connected to the one primordial eternal source. This is your protection, your connection, your grounding. And feel how it feels in your heart. See if you can feel the pumping of your heart, the heartbeat. The heartbeat that takes with it all frequencies, all codes you have now connected with. Transmitting them to your whole body, into all cells, all spaces between the cells, and into your aura field. Helping anything and everything that is out of alignment or that is not serving you, that is not of the highest and purest frequencies for you in this now, for you and all, helping to transmit them or expel them from your field of love. Imagine you seal this, your field, and imagine that we are all connecting this way because we are connected to the heart of Gaia. There we meet. We are connected to Source. There we meet. And we are connected to the one heart and to the power of the heart. This is where we meet ourselves and each other. So it is, and thus it shall be. Feel if you feel grounded, if you are rooted deeply. And then inhale. Exhale with a sigh or with sound. Bring forth your unique sound frequency. Feel it vibrating. The vibration helps to take with it or to vibrate loose, again, anything and everything that is not of your frequency. Breathe in, breathe out, with sound. Breathe in, and to whatever you need to fully return. Maybe move your fingers, move your toes, move your legs and shoulders, your spine. Welcome, 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 all of us here. What a joy. What a joy. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you, Pratibha. And I'm really curious about what the planets and the stars have got to tell us.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marietta. And so now, let's dive in. So, just bear with me one moment. I have to shift my, okay, there we are. So, as I practice alchemical astrology, just to give a little bit of a background as well, all of the references I'm going to be making are going to be through the lens of Western astrology for this particular call. And so with Western astrology and with astrology as a whole, I believe, we're really working with the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as within, so without. So the way that I work with astrology is not to say, okay, the planets are doing this, so it's going to make you do this. This is not the way that I work with it, but rather it gives us a frame to be able to utilize the cosmic movements to be able to identify within ourselves the frequencies as they are moving in the cosmos, they move within us. So the understanding is that we contain all the frequencies of the planets. We contain all of the different zodiacal signs within us at different levels based on our birth charts. So often somebody will say, I'm an Aquarius, I am a Sagittarius. This is when, because we often in our society, we identify, part of the sun sign is our ego identification. So that's why we often will say that. And in truth, we all have a moon placement, a Mars, a Venus, a Pluto. So we have all of these frequencies within. So as they move within the cosmos, they will, this is more personal, but they will actually move through our birth charts and trigger different points, triggering the different placements of the planets at the time of our birth and triggering our lessons, triggering our evolution, triggering events, right? And so based on our level of awareness and co-creative participation, the archetypes and frequencies connected to these celestial bodies which we carry within can be expressed consciously or unconsciously, right? Just going to admit one other person. So when expressed consciously, we are more able to co-create foundations within and for ourselves and for our personal relationships, our communities, and for the world that are founded in harmony, divine balance, peace, and unconditional love. When expressed unconsciously, these frequencies often play out in our lives in the form of the unintegrated shadow. So this may be where we may act from fear, greed, anger, where we may fall into the traps of the illusion of separation and often creating more mayhem and confusion in our lives and in the lives of others. Now, it's not about right or wrong. I don't approach astrology from that standpoint. Everything is a lesson. So sometimes things are expressed unconsciously, and from that, we now learn what it means. When that happens, we feel what that feels like, and that teaches us how to show up consciously. So I don't deal with it from a right or wrong place. All paths lead home kind of a thing, right? But my intention for this offering and for astrology as a whole is not to create fear. It's not to be overly deterministic, but it is to learn how we can consciously work with the frequencies of these astrological transits within our own selves in order to come into a more harmonious, loving expression of ourselves for the benefit of all beings. To reactivate and remember. I love this word remember, because for the longest time, remember meant like here, but then really thinking of the words remember, putting yourself back together, remembering yourself as a living, breathing, vibrating, important, and potent thread in the tapestry of this universe. To reactivate, reattune, and express your sacred instrument, your sacred frequency, the song of your heart within the grand symphony of life. So we are utilizing the journey of the celestial beings, the planets, the asteroids, and stars as a star map, which leads us step by step in the unfolding of our personal and collective development. And we're allowing the wisdom that we can decode from these transits to assist us as we rise from the slumber of unconsciousness into the experience of our wholeness, into the experience of our uniqueness and our oneness. And ultimately, as we begin and continue to evolve into a new ancient way of being. And as we begin and continue to build the templates of a new golden age. This, I believe, can only be done through the heart. And so here we are. And in regards to linear Earth time, it's maybe going to take a little bit of time for the wholeness of this to be expressed. So we best get going. So I want to just share a little bit about these 3 transits that we are experiencing around now that caught my eye, that this vision for us to come together was born out of. So the first thing that I want to speak about is we have a Mars in Cancer in opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, I'll just give a little bit of the dates first, and then we'll dive into that a little bit. But the dates, really, it's like from now, we're already in it. I would say until around November 19th, 20th, and then Pluto goes direct. And then Pluto is going to actually be going into Aquarius at that time. We'll talk about that later. So we're at the height of it right now. But it's going to kind of come and go, because even once we come out of the transit, Mars is going to go retrograde in December. So it's going to pass by Pluto again. So it's kind of like we're here, Mars is passing by Pluto, look at it like this. And then basically Mars goes into retrograde and passes over it again. And then they'll go direct and pass over it again. So there's 3 passes. The first one from now until about November 19th. The second one from around December 25th through January 11th. And then the third round from April 20th to May 2nd. So you can kind of think of this as being a little bit of a theme through May 2nd. And imagine it like this. It's almost like collectively, it's like Mars and Pluto. If we collectively are a harp, Mars and Pluto are just tuning us as the string, and have to go back to make sure that we're really attuned, right? So you can think about it like that. So today and these past few days, I would say are even more monumental, because this opposition, meaning what that means in the opposition, in regards to the ecliptic, which is basically the sun's path from the view of the Earth. When we would look at the chart, they would basically be 180 degrees, right? So that's what we have when we have an opposition. I'll get into that a little bit more. I don't want to go too technical, but just to give you a reference. So right now, this is intensified, specifically today, actually, as we're having this call in real time. This is happening. Sorry, one second. I just want to make sure that, oh, I forgot to pin. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt the flow, but actually I need to pin myself. Okay, there we go. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So right now, this opposition is at what is known as the anaretic degree. And that's when a planet reaches the 29th degree of a sign, or the degree just before it moves into another sign. So the significance of that is the planets are really activated by the frequency of a grand transition. There's often a sense of urgency with the anaretic degree. It's a turning point. It's a boiling point. There can be extra pressure as the tides turn. This is sometimes called the degree of fate, right? So we have challenges and extra tests to see how much we've learned from the school of the sign the planet has just been in before it shifts. So if there's any feeling of extra tension, I mean, opposition, there's already tension, but it's magnified when we're at the 29th degree. So any anxiety that may be felt personally or collectively, understand that there is this current that is happening specifically right now. So do whatever you can to regulate your nervous system. So now to get into a little deeper, that was like the overview, but to get into this, we have the Mars principle, and then we have Mars in Cancer. So the Mars function is our will to survive, our desire to get what we want, our assertion, our courage, the way we defend ourselves, how we take action, what makes us angry, how we go after what it is that we want, right? Then we have Cancer. Cancer is a sign that is associated with roots, the past, the family, ancestry, security, safety, hometowns, where we come from, our tribe, our nation. That's a word that we are associating with how we fight to defend our sense of security, the security of our family, the security of a country. All of this comes into play when we have Mars in Cancer. Cancer is also the sign of the mother ruled by the moon. So the Mars, as always, these planets, they have different expressions, whether it's conscious or unconsciously. So yes, we have the potential for the protector of the mother, the defender of the family, but we have the shadow potential as well, which is where are we seeing an anger rising from insecurity, which is a shadow of Cancer, and a perceived threat to groups that we identify as our people. This is something that that's a potential that we've been seeing, I believe. So one of the shadow traits of Cancer also is reactivity, or the inability to be rational when we're in the shadow. So you have that on one end of this. On the other end, we have the Pluto principle. Pluto is the god, the planet of death, rebirth, shadow material, regeneration, the underworld, the dark side, power dynamics, intensity, drama, crisis, fear can be shown when Pluto is involved. Essentially, when Pluto's involved, the earth splits. It's an earthquake. And whatever is not of service is shaken up and brought down to the underworld. But first, metaphorically, whatever is lurking in the underworld comes up through the steaming cracks of the earth to be acknowledged, integrated, and ultimately released. Pluto is not evil. Pluto himself is not bad. But the Pluto function within us often shows us our darkest blind spots. And when it expresses itself unconsciously within a person or within a group, it can and often does result in harm or crisis. Pluto expresses itself through the unintegrated shadow in the forms of compulsive behavior, obsession, and mainly distortion of power. And so Pluto shows us where we are still not free, where we are still ensnared by or entangled with distortion of power and or compulsive reactivity. But the gift of Pluto is the rising phoenix. The gift of Pluto can be the experience of wholeness, of integrated light and shadow, of divine power of instead of power over. So a gift of Pluto can be liberation from any and all tethers that bind us and any behaviors, actions, emotional, mental, spiritual programming that is no longer of service to our highest expression. Pluto will show us the darkest part so that we know exactly where the light needs to be shown for integration. And when one surrenders to this and begins to work consciously with the force of Pluto, this is the stuff of self-mastery. and reclamation of true power, which needs not exert itself on another and will not be overpowered by another either. The evolved expression of Pluto is the ascension as the phoenix. So we often, though, when it comes to Pluto in this context, look to the collective stage to experience the extremities of Pluto. Now, Pluto right now is at the 29th degree of Capricorn. Certain frequencies connected to Pluto in Capricorn can be all of what I just mentioned, shadow material in regards to public structures, establishments, the worlds of businesses, governments, rulerships, patriarchal energy. Now, I say patriarchal in a neutral way. And because Pluto is involved, yes, in this case, I'm also referring to the toxic display of patriarchal energy. And I want to make that clear because I'm not one to say that patriarchy as a whole, or patriarchal, I should say, the energy of a patriarch is automatically toxic. I'm not going to say that, but we have experienced toxic patriarchal energy. And so I'd like to make that, that difference in association. So basically, what we've been experiencing, I would say, is with this patriarchal energy, when it's distorted, which it has been, it raises the possibility for, at this particular moment, it raises the possibility for toxic patriarchy to rear its not so beautiful face again, as it's kicking and screaming on its way into transmutation. That's how I like to look at where we're at. So it's like a grand finale in a symphony, or the last big act, I would say. Hopefully, we'll see what we do. It's always up to us anyway, but these are the potentials that I'm seeing. So overall here, we have a seesaw of polarities between personal will, Mars, divine will, Pluto, action and surrender, the patriarch, Capricorn, the matriarch, Cancer, intuition in the inner realms versus the logic and attuned to the external realities, issues of personal and domestic, issues of the personal and issues of the professional and material. So whenever we're in opposition, the key is synergy. The great challenge is finding some form of alignment within the seemingly opposing frequencies. When in opposition, finding and living rooted in our center is key. And the center is the heart, right where we are being led. So that's the first piece. And I love astrology so much, and I love the planets so much because they tell a story. I love the synchronicity that I attune to when I watch their movements. So as I mentioned, as we are holding this gathering, we are in the opposition of the anaretic degree, as I mentioned, right? Just a few hours after we conclude at around 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just one moment before 11:11, Mars will move into Leo. So we have Mars. I've already mentioned how the function of Mars moving into Leo. That is the sign that is the ruler of the heart. Both, I'd say metaphorically, but also even in medical astrology, Leo, the sign, is connected to the heart. So what do I see there? I see Mars in Cancer, the defending of the mother, moving into Mars into Leo. So what I see is, to defend the mother, we become the lion. So Mars in Leo, November 3rd. Mars in Leo is initiative. It is leadership. It is confidence. It is motivation to achieve goals. Once there's a focus with Mars in Leo, enthusiasm and willpower fuel the drive. It's a roar, right? And so we have Mars action and Leo leadership, ruler of the heart. So you put that together, active leadership from the heart. And because Pluto is involved, and there's always surrender involved with Pluto, there is also the surrender to the purity of your own heart. There's a beautiful quote that really moved me. I saw it some time ago. I wish I could remember who originally said this. I read it somewhere and it has stuck with me so long, but I think it's such a beautiful connection to Mars in Leo, which is a true leader is not one who says, follow me. A true leader is one who says, I'll go first. So with Mars and Leo, as always, we have the shadow or the light. So we have leadership. Is it leadership from ego or is it leadership from the heart? The choice is ours. And remembering that the Pluto opposition, because Pluto's involved, may augment the shadow side of Mars and Leo. But now that we have this information, your choice is also augmented. So we have Mars moving into the heart. Just some hours after that, we have a Venus-Moon conjunction in Sagittarius. That's going to happen tomorrow, 11/4, November 4th at 12:08 p.m. PST. So very briefly, because I don't want to get too, there's a lot of information here, but just to give you a context, within the practices of the rose lineage, which is an ancient Venusian lineage steeped in the mysteries of the great goddess and the divine feminine, there is a practice of acknowledging and really taking the time to sit with the frequencies of a Venus-Moon conjunction. And again, I won't go too deep into this now. This is a whole other conversation, and there are many mystery teachers of the Venusian line that if you feel called to dive deeper into that, you should, if you feel called. But essentially, in Venus's 8-year cycle, I'm just going to give this really quick reference. So like, this is the Earth. Hold on. The Earth. And this is the sun. Okay, this is the sun, pomegranate 1, sun, this is the Earth. When Venus is in between the sun and the Earth, okay, that is known as an inferior conjunction. And then Venus goes around, there's a superior conjunction when she's on the outside, so the Earth is between the sun and Venus, and then she comes back around and she goes into her inferior conjunction again. We don't need to go deep into that, but the reason why I wanted to mention it is every single time she's in her inferior conjunction, it starts another phase of Venus. And when she comes out of that conjunction, we honor her as the morning star, meaning in the morning is when you can see Venus. Then she moves, goes to the superior conjunction, and after that, she's the evening star, and she's in the sky in the evening. Now, I mention all this because in the practice of the rose lineage, sometimes it is honored where when she's in her evening star, we honor her when she's at these Venus-Moon conjunctions. She's moving up the chakras, the different chakra points. And then when she goes retrograde, she's here in the soul chakra, the soul star chakra. And then after that, when she becomes the morning star, she descends. And this is following the mythology of Inanna. And so basically, and that's the context. Now, basically, at this particular Moon-Venus conjunction, which is happening tomorrow, she is in her evening star phase, and she's just spent the last month or so at the solar plexus. And so tomorrow, the day after, some hours after Mars moves into Leo, the heart, we have a Moon and Venus conjunction in Sagittarius at the heart chakra. All energies are moving into the heart. You cannot write this 2 days before a very, very potent and very, very energetic day. We have all of this motion into the heart that is available to us. So a little bit, the moon represents our needs, how we nurture, how we like to be nurtured, the feminine intuitive principle. Venus, how we love, how we like to receive love, our connection to beauty, to harmony, and to relating. So when we have the Venus-Moon conjunction, this is a very powerful frequency of the great goddess as nurturer of the world. It's the great goddess as maiden, mother, lover, crone, wisdom keeper, priestess, healer, and is specifically potent on these days. And so as we experience this opposition, this is very interesting as well, between matriarch, patriarch, and I mean energetically, we also have the coming together of the masculine, Mars, and the feminine, the moon and Venus, in the center of the heart. So we have a polarity within the polarity. So in the spirit of this moon Venus conjunction in Sagittarius, Sagittarius being the sign of expansion, of seeking what's beyond the horizon, growing. It's ruled by Jupiter. Everything is about expansion with Sagittarius. So we have these planets in Sagittarius. And so the question is, what can we do to expand our heart enough to be able to hold the existence of polarity, to be able to hold ourselves and the existence of others? How can we honor that the truth, that the one in its expression of the many in this present moment are not all experiencing life in the same way? So can we be firm in our energetic boundaries and in our expression while also holding compassion for those with different expressions? If we weren't all meant to be here at this time, then I don't believe we would be. But we are all here now. So for visualization, what I saw was, how can we expand our hearts so wide that it actually becomes the field on which this Mars and Pluto game happens? For humanity to come together again, for the beings of Gaia to come together again. It'll be through the heart. If and when the many choose the roads that lead back to the heart, the many will come together and experience themselves as the one again. So, to wrap this up, we have Pluto moving out of Capricorn for the last time in our lifetimes, unless we remember how to exist for hundreds of years like we used to. See how far we can get with our remembrance. But essentially, Pluto has a 248-year cycle. So as we are living now, this is the last of it for now. So whatever Pluto brings, this is what I want to offer at the end. That is, to me, so inspiring as we move into this very interesting week. Whatever Pluto brings to the surface at the energetic degree of Capricorn, governments, societal structures, big corporations, those who have assumed positions of power, whatever that is, whatever those distortions of power are, it is setting the stage for Pluto to move into Aquarius, where it will remain until, I believe, 2043. Aquarius is a sign that is connected to innovation, revolution, higher ideals, and service to the collective. Pluto, power, Aquarius, the collective. Pluto moving into Aquarius ushers us into the frequency of power to the people. And remembering that with Pluto, there is almost always the revelation of shadow first. And also remembering that how you act, how you love, how you build, how you release, how you create, how you be in the world is up to you. We find ourselves at the dawn of a different time. And there's a huge invitation to allow your role in the creation of that time to be shown to you through your inner vision and within your own heart, and utilizing that flame of your heart to dream, to move, and to live it into creation. The doors are open now. And so when I saw all of these synchronicities, this is when I heard and felt the frequency and roar of Sekhmet, she who is powerful and the one who loves Ma'at. So now we come together to learn more about Sekhmet, and then to be led on a sacred journey within to meet her and receive directly from her. So to begin this journey, I would like to welcome forth the one and only Isis Indrian.
Thank you so much for welcoming me. What a magnificent transmission. I'm just resonating from that absolutely magnificent transmission. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would love to begin this way. If everyone wants to do this together, this is called the sign of Assad. Assad, Osiris, and this is one of the things I love to do, that we just close our eyes and receive the transmissions that were just gifted to us. Here comes my son. Quiet, Baba. Receive the transmissions that we just received fully. Allow them to integrate into the body. And in this way, as we receive the transmissions and how they open up and attune and inform, we here at this moment just acknowledge everything that has led us to this moment. Our own trials, our own tribulations, our own victories, our own transformations. We just acknowledge ourselves that way, and our ancestors and where we come from, our origins. Saying thank you too to our mom's line and our father's line and everything that came before, so we could be the dream today of our ancestors for this time of the dawning of a new era. And then in this way, as we feel into our current, our circle that is cast today, here and in the future, we now take a moment to bow to each and every person in the circle and their lines and where they come from. So please go ahead and bow. Okay, now we open our eyes. Thank you. First, I just want to acknowledge my son here. Of course, he comes in right at my moment, even though he has support. So thank you all for your patience with my son here, Orion. My name is Isis Indria, born in Mesa, Arizona, raised on the island of Guam. So I say Hafaday to each and every person here and all of our ancestors. And I'm coming in from the ancestral homelands of the Nisenan and the Chacumayru, also known as Nevada City. And I just want to say thank you so much for hosting this magnificent gathering, Sekhmet Awakening, and welcoming me into this container. So today I'm just going to share a little bit about my profound love and adoration for Sekhmet. I just came back from an initiation pilgrimage a couple weeks ago from Kemet. Kemet, for those that are still connecting to this land of Egypt, it's the original name of Egypt. And Kemet means the black fertile soil. Chem, that's where the term alchemy comes from. Alchemy, alchem. And Chem is like the rich, nourishing, black fertile soil where we plant the seeds of our intentions and we water them and they emerge and flower and blossom. And then after their full blossoming, die and return back to the soil to support new life and continue life moving forward. And so I just came back from there, and I just want to share a moment. We go there on initiation pilgrimages every year, and there is this altar, this temple called the Temple of Mut. And at one point there were 365 Sekhmet, they call them fetishes or statues, that were there. And in relationship to Dola, your transmission related to power, you know, a lot of these statues, these fetishes that are considered to be vehicles for the life force of creation to move through, are now, a lot of them are all over the world. It's like Sekhmet is been placed and moved in different museums and locations all over the world. And with that, her name, Sekhmet, Sek is connected to the term Sechem. And you have in the Chem of Sechem, the Kemet, the Chem, and then the Se, the Sa, the Sekhmet, Sechem, is a name for the creative healing power, life force power of the universe. And so in relationship to this conversation you were sharing, Dola, around power, in some of the old Kemetic, older Egyptian studies, Sekhem is the life force power that we become vehicles for. And in that being the life force power that we become vehicles for, it's a healing energy that assists the transformation of ourselves and also of consciousness and humanity. So this is embedded in her name. And then in the Sekhmet, the Met, the T usually has a reference of like a holy feminine spirit aspect. And so there's this holy feminine spirit aspect of Sekhmet that is connected to the Sekhem, the creative life force energy of creation that we are vehicles for it to move through and support the healing energy and consciousness through us. And so in this way, she's known as the grand healer and also the great warrior. Sekhmet, as most of us know, for those that are connecting with her for the first time, she's a lion-headed Neteru. Neteru is the name of the universal life force energy of which are more modern day are called gods and goddesses. She's a Neteru. Neter. That's where she comes from. And she comes from the family of fire. And this family in the Kemetic tradition is called the family of Aakut. Aakut. And in this family, her partner in creation is Ptah. And Ptah is the one that creates the heaven and the earth. It's a creator Neter. He creates the heaven and the earth, and oftentimes the word, or how a word comes out of our mouth, divine utterance, Ptah, is related to this particular Neter and how the breath of life comes out like a divine utterance. So that is her consort. And then she, Sekhmet, is called the creative fire of the family of fire. She's that creative fire principle. So Ptah creates the heaven and the earth, just like what Dola was saying, as above, so below. The Hermetic principle of as above, so below. Ptah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. And then Sekhmet, as the creative fire principle of the family of fire, is the fiery matrix that lights up the grid, lights up consciousness. So she's this, when we tune to fire that way, it's the divine spark that ignites and also attunes to how creation creates itself through us. And so in this way, we are vehicles for the creation power of Sekhmet. And this is something that I was really contemplating for a long time. Where does power come from? It's like, do we have a personal power? Is that how it works? Is it similar to when you plug into a wall and power turns on? Where's all that power come from? From the sun, and also with water, fire in the water in some contexts. And that's very much her, because she's the creative fire principle, but she's a descendant of the Ntr, which is the water. So with her fire, she works with the water to ignite and create and empower the water that feeds and nourishes everything in creation. And oftentimes with Sekhmet too, in some of the Egyptian cosmology realms of study and research and ritual and contemplation, like Dola was sharing about the cosmic alignments that are occurring, this magnificent moment, and this moment where we just came out of 3 days of October 31st, when the ancestors began their journey at midnight to come and reunite with us and the children on the other side. And then November 1st, Dia de los Muertos, and November 2nd, Dia de los Inocentes, the children ancestors. And in this time, All Hallows Eve and Samhain, it was the first time probably in our life that we would have lunar Samhain, where the new moon in Scorpio is on this timeline, which is like, wow, you know? And then yesterday where I am, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere, November 2nd at midnight is the moment when all of the ancestors and the children ancestors return back through the 7 gates and they go home. And we got to spend this time of reunion with everybody together, and we light the candles for them to travel here. And then we blow out the candles as they travel home. And the flame, for when they arrive, is called the flame also in this context of Sekhmet, where she's also the light that helps open up the gates of the invisible realms, of the visible and the invisible. She's that flame that's the same flame in the candle, that's the same flame in the sun, that's the same flame from Sirius and even Lyra, and that's the same flame in our heart, which is why she's related to our heart. So in this way, there's this movement of information, communication, and life force energy from Sirius, Lyra, the sun, to the candle, to our hearts. And this is the creative power of Sekhmet. Her child, Sekhmet and Ptah, a lot of the ancient Egyptian cosmological stories is there's triads. And there's a consort and a divine child, like my son here. Their child is Nefertem. And Nefertem, Nefer means beauty. Their child is the blue lotus. And the blue lotus, they, you know, in reference to Egypt, is very related to the Nile. You know, the Nile has 2 root systems. There's the blue Nile and the white Nile that come from Uganda and Ethiopia. And they meet in Khartoum, and then the Nile travels north. And then as the Nile travels north, at one point, now it's only 5, but at one point distributed into 7 tributaries, and it blossomed at the top. So every time somebody made an offering or prayer into the water to the god Hapi, they said that prayer would travel up the Nile and offer to all the 7 bodies of the water, the world. And then in this way, we are said to be the Nile, like our 2 legs are the blue Nile and the white Nile, and then the water travels up our spine, travels up our body, and just blossoms in our mind, Nefertem, across the land. We are the blue lotus, the Nefertem. And the story of the blue lotus is related to the fire of Sekhmet and the water of the Neter. Is that the lotus, one of the old traditions of the ancient Egyptian blue lotus, the older that are now planting and growing in Kemet again, is that the blue lotus had 3 days of its journey. It would live underwater in the primordial waters of creation. And then the time for it to rise out of the water and receive the light of the sun, it received the fire from the cosmos, the fire from Lyra, the fire from Sirius, the light, the new information. It'd receive it and open up with the sun, and then take that information and that fire, that creative power, and bring it into the water, and do this for 3 days, and then offer that to the world. And this was a relationship of Sekhmet, the fire of Sekhmet that would come into the lotus, and the creative principle of Ptah, and then offer that to the water. So it was emergence of the fire and the water, just like our bodies. We're made up of water, and then the divine spark of creation is the fire. So truly in this way, with our heart, we are all Sekhmet. We are all vehicles for the creative power of the universe, that is the power of healing. She's often known to be the lion warrioress, you know, the warrior that is so devoted to integrity. It's like the power of integrity, the power of checks and balances, interior checks and balances, the eye of Ma'at inside of our consciousness, our pineal. The interior power of checks and balances, the level of integrity where she's a warrior is she's going to check us, the fire that checks us. You know, is this fire warming? Is this fire going to burn out, or is this fire destroying? Even has this story of when humanity was going haywire, kind of like what we're experiencing this time of transition now. the grand amnesia or forgetfulness of why we're here and what we're here to do, how we're here to serve and heal and transform and serve others this way. The story is that she was so mad like fire that humanity forgot how to bond with the cosmos and be a vehicle for the relationships of the natural world and the divine. That she came on this killing spree, started killing everybody. And the gods were like, the Netters were like, hold on, Sekhmet, chill out. You know what I mean? Let's give him another chance. And the story is they poured all of this alcohol, because she likes to drink blood. Sekhmet drinks blood and pomegranate and all things red, you know. And they poured all this beer or this alcohol, or some say it was a red algae, into the water, the Nile. She drank it all, and then she got drunk to calm down and chill out. And that was the God's way of being like, let's give humanity another chance. I feel like we're in that moment now. You know, everything we imagine, think, say, do, our actions, our behaviors, you know, they become our destiny. So this circle that we're here right now, together with this awakening of the Sekhmet energy, of Sekhmet, a tribe of lions, you know, like a tribe of lions, of pride, you know, that protect and support our own currents, our families, the communities that we stand for, the communities that we care about, the communities that we're a part of, and our families. And then we come together as a tribe of lions and leaders like here today. You know, we cultivate and strengthen ourselves with this energy of the warrior to be vehicles for the healing energy of Sekhmet, the Sekhem, to move through us, so that everything we imagine, say, and do is an offering of healing into the web. And in this way, you know, with the Sekhmet has a pair in the time of Sagittarius. She's related to Sagittarius, which is coming up next. Exactly. And in Sagittarius, her pair is Bastet, and they're two. It's the offering time of Sekhmet and Bast. And Sekhmet is the fire. She's the pomegranate, the blood, the wine, the red, the fire, the creative fire. That's how we offered her. That's what we feed to her. And Bast is the milk and the honey. And so it's not about being too caught up in the milk of the honey, or be too caught up in the blood and the pomegranate. It's the time of making offerings to them both. So there's a harmonization, like Dola was sharing, a harmonization of the warrior and the healer. And oftentimes too, in the old tradition of marriages, you know, the original that I've found so far, you know, tradition of where the union ceremony came from. And it would happen sometimes in the Sagittarius timeline for Sekhmet and Bast. There would be this ceremony where two people would embody the power of Sekhmet and the power of Bast to make offerings to Heteru, Hathor. So the cosmic mother of Hathor would bestow blessings to support us in this time of our evolution. So there's a relationship there. I could go on and on and on until the break of dawn, because I love Sekhmet, but I wanted to offer these seeds of nourishment that I've learned. And one of the things I've also learned from Sekhmet is the consciousness of offering. You know, she says, you know, in the Western world, this is what the oracle told me related to her. You know, the Western world, we're taught to, like, you know, just keep getting and forgetting, just extract. Even in the language, there's an extractive consciousness. And in the world of Sekhmet, to be the vehicle of the heart and the vehicle of the healing energy of the heart, that's the mediating intelligence of everything. You know, the heart of our bodies, the heart of the fire, the heart of the sun, the heart of Sirius, the heart of Lyra. They say Sekhmet comes from Lyra. The heart of how the light moves and travels and creates everything with the water. Being the heart of Sekhmet, being the heart like that, the mediating intelligence, we light up the grid together when our hearts are united here today as the mediating intelligence. And then that healing energy, we're not healing anyone. The healing energy of Sekhmet moves through us to heal our ancestors behind us, anything that's needed in this time, and then for infinite generations into the future. So we become a vehicle for the offering. It's nothing we're doing. We become a vehicle for the offering. The consciousness of offering is the antidote to the extracted mind. So with that, I most humbly and genuinely just say thank you for the preciousness of your time to hear anything that comes through at this time in relationship to Sekhmet. And as a devotee to Sekhmet, I just say Ankh-Neteru, Ankh-Neteru, Ankh-Neteru. Blessed be, and so it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Isis. We become the vehicle for the offering. Thank you. I'm so honored that you were able to join us, where you were able to be a part of this gathering, be a part of this web. Beloved lioness, thank you. You are always welcome, always. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you. I'm so joyous right now. And so now that we have this reverberation of Sekhmet, let's go meet her. Beloved Arietta is now going to lead us in a sacred journey into the heart, the presence of Sekhmet. And whatever you receive, if you are here, if you're watching this, it's not for me to know. It's now time for us to get, as we said, we are the vehicle for the offering. So we now get out of the way and we allow Sekhmet to come forward now. Okay, and so with that, Arietta, please take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, Isis, for this beautiful transmission as well. And I actually love that your son came to you and is now nursing. It's so beautiful in, you know, this energy, this frequency of Sekhmet. My voice is very soft. Yes, oh, that's my tendency. Okay. Better? Okay, so when I guide a meditation, I tend to speak softly, but I will do my best. I'll shortly introduce myself, very shortly. My name is, the name I use is Arietta Love. I live in Montségur, which is on the Rose Line, part of the Cathar mystery. And well, I'm a modern day mystic. That's what I'm really devoted to mysticism, and to help liberate souls from anything and everything that is not true when they are ready. So that in a very tiny nutshell. Let's dive in. Let us welcome Sekhmet. Please close your eyes. And I think one microphone is open. I think so. Okay, thank you. So, taking with us on this inner journey, again, anything and everything that is for you, and letting just flow away anything that doesn't resonate, that's not, it's not for you. If you haven't closed your eyes yet, please close your eyes. And invite yourself on an inner journey. connect to the grounding frequencies, energies you already connected with before. So feel the grounding support of Mama Gaia. The connection you have from heart to heart, as well as your connection, your direct connection in the temple of your heart and from the temple of your heart with primordial, eternal source. Feel the beating of your heart. And allow yourself to really, really enter the temple of your heart. Welcome yourself home. Welcome yourself home here. And here in your heart, connect in your very own way to the frequencies, the energy, the nourishment, the warrior spirit, the healer vibrations and contributions of Sekhmet. As you are one with primordial eternal source, you can now easily connect with her frequencies, her essence, her presence, as you also connect to your own essence, your own divine presence as well. Entering deeper and deeper into the temple of your heart. Maybe you visualize a temple, an ancient Kemetic temple. As you walk and walk step by step, guiding yourself home in the heart of all. Surrender. 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 And maybe you feel that you need to inhale deeply, straight into the heart. And exhale. And do this a few times at your own pace, in your own way. And it may be that as you enter deeper and deeper, you feel, or you start to feel, weightless, as if gravity doesn't have an effect on you. It may even be that space opens up for you in your heart, as your heart expands and expands and expands. And as you surrender deeper and deeper and deeper, guided by the wisdom and the fire of Sekhmet, of your innate wisdom and fire too, that by her presence and via your connection to her essence as well as to your own, all start to be reactivated. Maybe you feel you can float through space, through the cosmos, while you know you are still deeply rooted as well. But you expand, your consciousness can just roam and journey wherever it needs to journey to. Maybe it is to the sun. Maybe it is to Venus. Maybe it is to Sirius. Maybe to Lyra as well. Just allow yourself to travel as you connect to the gifts that will be given to you, will be reactivated within as you expand and expand, coming home more and more. Being home. Wherever your consciousness is journeying to, you are still rooted and deeply connected in the heart, in the temple of your heart. Become really curious now. Really curious what your intention is at this very moment when it comes to your why of being here now. What are you devoted to? Let it rise. Don't force yourself to think of something. Let your heart speak, whisper, or roar what is for you now. And feel. Feel. Imagine in your heart, in the center of your heart, in the Holy of Holies, in the sanctum, there is a flame, a sacred fire you become aware of. Do you feel drawn towards it? Follow your inner guidance. And imagine that the intention, the focus of your devotion, you can now offer to these divine flames, to this sacred fire of Sekhmet, of spirit. Fire turns it into smoke. Smoke is being spread into the air, the ether is being spread naturally, automatically, anywhere and everywhere it needs to go to. Imagine you breathe in the air. It touches your skin as well. It touches the trees. It touches the surface of Mama Gaia. It touches the waters everywhere. The waters. Your intentions, your devotion is nourishing all waters. The sacred waters, the primordial waters, the sacred well of life itself. The waters that go deep, really deep, to the bottom of the oceans. Even deeper, your intentions, your devotion, your frequencies, your codes seep through the earth into the inner waters, the crystalline grids. Dripping, flowing deep into the earth, reaching her heart. Envision vividly that all these codes of devotion, of intention, of healing, and where needed, warriorism, of alchemy, sacred alchemy, that they nourish the grids, the waters, the rocks, the crystals, the heart of Mama Gaia, as well as her surface, as well as beyond. Waters turn to damp. Which can travel anywhere. We drink it. We bathe in it. Our codes of healing, of devotion, of fire, of harmony, of overcoming polarization and separation, of returning back home into the one within. These codes that we still carry within, in the heart, in our very own multidimensional DNA, particles, strands, codes. Are spreading at quantum speed. Awakening dormant DNA codes, reactivating yourself within, your fire, your wisdom, your healing powers, your vast love. Feel or be really curious, whichever, whatever is also healing within. Be really curious. What is being sparked within? Sa Sechem Sahu. Sa Sechem Sahu. Sa Sechem Sahu. Now slowly but surely return back into the heart fully. And it might be that in your heart you see or visualize a blue lotus fully flowering, opening, blossoming. Return into the heart, taking with you, receiving, remembering all codes within that have been reactivated or are ready to be reactivated really, really soon. Allow yourself the spaciousness of being in the not knowing zone when it comes to the mind who wants to know and put it into words. Just know that you have received anything and everything that is for you as well as for the highest good of all. Through lifetimes, timelines, spaces and dimensions. Feel your heart. Consciously feel your heart, and you may even, if you haven't done so yet, put your hands on your heart, or maybe one on your heart and one on your belly, your womb, your hara. And thank your heart. Thank your heart for having stored all the wisdom, the sacred knowledge with a capital K, the treasures, the gifts you came in with. You have been safeguarded for who knows how long. But it is time now. It is time now to awaken to the truth of who you are. And to allow your offerings to flow into the web of life. Know that it is so. You don't need to force anything, do anything. You have surrendered, and that is enough. Surrendering to the truth of who you are. Reawakening to your innate devotion and to divine love. Alchemizing, alchemizing, alchemizing as you have done many, many times before, I'm sure. Alchemizing illusory separation and polarizations. First of all, then. So with your hand on your heart, can you feel the love within? Can you feel your fire within? Can you connect to the wisdom within? To your sacred treasures, to your gift? And can you thank yourself and bow to yourself for showing up, for being here, for being present, for having the courage to be the sacred alchemist in this here and now, for the highest, purest, most sacred good of all. So it is, and thus it shall be. Kahinar nahinema kaiti indai nakashtetir indaya namakaya. Now take a deep breath in, please. And exhale at your own pace. Breathe in deeply, nourishing yourself with powerful, potent life force energy. And exhale with a sigh, with a sound, your sacred sound. Hear your sound, feel your sound, feel your raw, maybe. Start to move more. Stretch, yawn, wiggle. Do whatever it is you need to do to be fully present in your body with your expanded consciousness. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
You. Thank you. Maybe we should just take the next 2 or 3 minutes. If there's something that wants to be written down or just felt before we move forward. Arieta, Divine Sister, thank you for your gift. Thank you for your gifts of transcendence. Thank you. We'll just take the next 2 or so minutes just to, and then Marie will come forward and we will continue our journey. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Now, I'm just going to start off by saying you're probably going to tell me to turn it down because, like Arietta, I'm the opposite. I'm kind of quite loud and noisy. So and for good reason too, right? Because I just want to surmise our journey. We've started in the ethers, in the cosmos, okay? And we've had beautiful, beautiful sharings from Isis and Arietta. And you can see what we've done here. See what we did here? We kind of floated from the stars. And then when you arrive with me, it's all about the creation. It's all about what does it look like in physical form. So I am Marie Coveley. I am your initiatrix. I'm your teacher and alchemist. And I have a very explosive energy with Sekhmet. So get ready to go on a very, very powerful journey because it's now time to take all that magic and wisdom and bring it into something physical because it means nothing if it's not grounded. And we all have the codes on how to build pyramids. Pyramids they stand the test of time. It's about creation now. And we've been circling for so long because the timeline we've been in has kept us back there. We've been circling for so long to come into land. And we all know the timeline is now crashing. It's falling away. It's now just time to step in and really express your encodements however you want to share them, you know? So that is what my work's all about, Heka. Heka is magic and medicine, Egyptian manifestation, if you will. And it's about bringing thoughts into things. It's about finally taking that step and going from intention to action to creation, because that is the alchemical formula. So we've been spending lifetimes in intention. Get me out of here, right? The second is action. Now we're starting to like get a bit kind of antsy and we're ready to go. And creation is going to be what it looks like next year, essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going into a very, very powerful journey now. And like these beautiful ladies, I mean, and everybody here, we're a Lion Pride, man. So many of us have been to Egypt. And that's another thing. It's another part of my journey. I was called to actually hold Egypt by Sekhmet, actually. I was at somebody else's retreat, squashed up against the wall in her chapel. And someone spoke to me, and it was her. And she said, "You're going to do tours." I said, "No, I'm not." And I ran out of there and avoided it for several years. And I fought it and I got really sick and I didn't want to do it. And I basically had to work through my anxiety, my inadequacy. And here I am holding tours in Egypt and Avalon of like weaving the two energies together, the fire and the water. Now, my journey and how I got there is what I teach through my work and what I'm going to share with you here about how to really like burn away the intensity of shadow and actually just take it away and turn that fear into power, because fear is untapped power, right? So we're going in, okay? We're going in. So without further ado, okay? Now, of course, we all know what an ankh looks like. Just to give you a bit of a heads up as to what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing some activations. And at my teachings, I always say, or rather Sekhmet told me, you cannot proclaim your power until you've accepted it. Right? There has to be an acceptance of core power. And where we get stuck in the loop is we skip the first stage. So an acceptance is saying, yes, I am ready. It's your sacred yes. And remember, when you give your sacred yes to something, you automatically say no to something else. It's the universal law. So in this meditation, you are going to obviously visualize yourself as the ankh. All I'm going to say now is obviously we all understand that this cross section here is where your heart is, right? That's all you need to know on a physical level now, but that's your visual that you're going to be working with, all right? So now take yourself into a place, lie down, go, stay where you are and just kind of like take some nice big deep breaths because we're already in that beautiful meditative energy that we've just been in for this whole journey. And just breathe in and exhale and let go of any residual, okay? And then we're going to start to move into the meditation. So taking a nice big deep breath in from the root chakra, inhale. And I want you to exhale, my mouth open. Inhale again, draw all that energy, really draw it up, fill the lungs. Inhale, powerful Sekhmet breath out. And that final one, you're now going to breathe in and you're going to announce yourself into her space. Inhale. And exhale. And allow your energy just to settle Expand your heart, just as you've done with Arietta. Expand it even further. Allow your breath now to enter into the heart. And I'm welcoming in Mother Cacao and Blue Lotus, for I've been happily sipping on a cup of cacao and Blue Lotus as we've been sitting here. So love that we've spoken a lot about Blue Lotus, for her energy is here. Beautiful divine heart opener. And as you breathe into your heart, which is your portal for travel, inhale. Exhale out of the heart and just visualize those petals of your Blue Lotus unfurling one by one by one. And taking a deeper breath in now, inhale, entering into the heart portal. And as you exhale, let go of everything out there and journey in deeply into your own inner cosmos. Allow yourself to become very weightless now. This is a place where you feel safe, comfortable. And you also know you come here when it's time to travel. So allow yourself to be taken now to another timeline, to another place. You are safe. You are protected. For you are a child of Sekhmet. Feel yourself now journey like the speed of light. And suddenly you land. And you look down at your feet. And your feet are barefoot. You wiggle your toes and you notice that you're stood in sand. And as you allow your visualization to expand a little and you look up and around, there is nothing except an expansive desert. You feel the heat on your skin. You can smell the arid air. And you realize that you are dressed in beautiful white ceremonial clothes blowing in the wind. You're very aware of the power of the sun of Ra above you, bellowing down upon your skin, and you are in Sekhmet's land. For you are in the desert where everything dies so it can be reborn again. But you're not fearful of this place. You just know that you've been called to this desert, this place of no thingness. But here with no thing, there is immense power and abundance. And you can feel the energy as you slowly start to walk to where you are guided. You see in the distance a figure standing. And as this figure now turns to you to greet you, there she is. Mother Sekhmet, protector, lady of the flame, in all of her glory and power. And you bow your head, honoring her. And she has such presence. And you can hear the faint growls underneath her breath, but it's through such affection for you. But you still hold that respect, that honor for her. As you stand there now, you steady yourself, for you know that she has called you to this place for a good reason. She speaks and she says, "Dear heart, it is now time for you to choose." The timeline has disappeared. In truth, it really has. And I am now calling you forth as an upholder of Ma'at to claim your space, to take up space, to be seen, but in this current lifetime, drawing on all of your ancient knowledge and wisdom as a master and asking you to now express this in the world fiercely, unapologetically, proudly. You hold powerful encodements, and it is now time for you to step forth. However, there is still residual. There is an initiation I am going to take you through now, for you still hold remnants of fear, and that cannot take place in the new timeline. Do I have your sacred yes to step forward into this brand new dimension, this new age of Aquarius, Atlantis, whatever you wish to call it? And of course, you give your sacred yes. She steadies you now. She asks you to breathe deeply. So now focus on your breath and focus on the lower vibration of fear. bring forth any memory, triggers, anything that may come forth. When she asks you to step forward in the world and show up now, what comes up? Fear of being seen, fear of being ridiculed, fear of getting it wrong. What if you don't know enough? Rejection, perhaps. Fear is bred from many places. So allow those scenarios to build now. And expand your energy field in your heart wide now. So wide that you connect with Ra, the sun god. Make space, she says. And allow the gift of fear to rise through your being. And as if you are just making space so it can dislodge, keep doing that. And allow this low vibration of fear to rise from your belly, rise to your solar plexus. Keep expanding, rise to your heart. And when it gets to your heart, I want you to say out loud now, I am courage, I am. I am courage, I am. And allow the energy of that transformation of alchemy from fear to courage to raise now and evaporate out of your being, but to join your consciousness in the world, in the multiverse, in the universe. I am courage, I am. Your highest expression of this. Now your energy field is expansive and you let out this almighty roar. It bellows across the desert. It is powerful. It is awakening. And then suddenly you transform and you are an Ankh, this sacred Ankh. You are vibrating. You are anchored deeply into the earth. Your arms extended, announcing yourself to the world. The circular part of the Ankh, that expression is encompassing the whole multiverse. And you stand here now. And she says to you, this, dear heart, is the first step of your initiation. For this is acceptance of your core power. You roar once more, and there is an igniting of fire in your heart. Where the cross-section of the Ankh is, sudden fire comes from your heart. Allow it. Finally, it's come online. This is your sacred flame. Your sacred flame of Sekhmet. And as that flame builds now, it is a fiery ball in your chest. It loves fiercely. It creates ferociously. It has the power to soothe, calm, but is your sacred fire of your heart. And now this ball of energy in your heart now takes rise. Allow it to travel up through your throat chakra, up through your third eye. And suddenly it takes form and place above your head. And you have the most magnificent sun disk above your head. And as this arrives at this place, Ra and his rays come down and meets you and celebrates you and acknowledges you as an upholder of Ma'at. Sekhmet is roaring. She is walking around you, jumping around, celebrating you. She changes into real lion, human form. She's shape-shifting. And you just stand and you hold your energy here. And as you do so, Wadjet appears on your third eye, yes, to protect you. But she has shown up to give glory and honor to you, that you are the enlightened one. You have earned your stripes, so to speak. So as you hold this energy now, and you expand this energy, and you lock this in, this is the new, the ancient, the new you. And now you speak, and you say, my beloved mother, Sekhmet, essence of the flame, queen of all the lions, destroyer of suffering and pain. I call upon your strength as I dispel the fear I hold. Your fire lights my embers. I stand before you, brave and bold. No longer am I imprisoned by the shadow and the dark. I stand beside you, mother, as I sail in Ra's sunbark. I lay claim to my throne. I destroy all presence of fear, proclaiming my sovereignty. My path to power is clear. My beloved Sekhmet, the goddess of the sun, I forge forward fearlessly. I close this cycle. It is done. And with that, you just feel a rush of goosebumps in your physical being now. And you feel a stiffening of your spine, an ignition of your heart, a want and powerful presence to be here in the physical, celebrating life now. As above, so below, so within, so without. And then everything just calms down. And you are stood before Sekhmet, eye to eye, heart to heart, lion heart to lion heart. And she purrs, and it reverberates through your whole being. And it helps you integrate and ground and just be. Never have you felt so wholesome. Never have you felt so loved. And there is one more thing, dear hearts, that is required. You came in with an intention. It is now being called for you to come forth with a promise, with all of the magic and medicine and Heka, with the sacred yeses, the becoming. What is your promise that you tomorrow, as early as the day dawns, how will you action this in the world? What is your first step to awakening your Sekhmet heart and living as a lion heart? What is your promise? You may speak this or write this, but once it has been witnessed, one must stand by it. With so much love from Sekhmet. So much love for each and every one of you as the lion pride you stepped forward. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Taking a nice big deep breath now. We don't really want to leave any of that behind, actually, because that's your truth. So we want to anchor it down into your Earth Star chakra, down into the heart of Gaia. Wholesome and true. Love and blessings.
Thank you, Marie, so much. I am electrified. Thank you. I mean that in the best way. It's like my whole body's just like, okay. If you want to just take a minute or two, if there's anything that came forth, whatever you received, to record for yourself at this time would be a wonderful time. And then we will be closing this gathering. But first, very special surprise. Let's take the next 2 or 3 minutes and we'll be back to close. Okay. We have journeyed through the waters, through the fires. We have journeyed through the cosmos, and deep within we have journeyed, and we have journeyed together. May we continue to journey together. May we continue to journey together into the temple of the heart. And may our actions in this world continue to reflect the power of that journey. Let's see what we can build now that the doors are open. It is an honor to be here in this call and on this planet with all of you at this time. It's a very, very, very potent time to be here. And I'm honored that we are all here together now. And so, honoring you, beloved Marie, Fire Sister, thank you. Thank you for that ignition, that activation. Honoring you, Ariat Love. Thank you. Thank you for your divine grace, your flow, and your light. Honoring you. Thank you, Isis. Thank you for your wisdom, for your authenticity, and for your humility, for your divine teachings. Thank you. And so we will be parting now, but before we go, we have a very special surprise. And once I offer this surprise, I will not say anything else. It feels that the closing of this gathering wants to go out with the sound of thunder. And the sound of thunder has been brought to us via the frequency of the one and only, my dear star brother, Jaya John. Jaya John is not with us on this call in real time, but as I reached out to him with this sacred heart vision, he was moved, and there was a flow that came through him in these last few days in the form of a sacred poem. And he sent it to me. And so now I'm going to offer it to you. For those of you who do not know Jaya John is an internationally recognized freedom worker, a poet, an author, a teacher, and a speaker. And he is the founder of The Gathering, which is a global initiative and tour reviving traditional gatherings and storytelling practices to fertilize social healing and liberation. And so, without further ado, and to send us off into the world, Thunder by Jaya John. Bear with me because now I have to do technical things to make sure that this works. Just keep me on. Okay.
Hot winds sift the desert sands, grain by grain, over the curvaceous plain. You return home, 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 to your sacred heart. Hot winds and a fire start that leaps up the tree of eternity. and sings you free. Boom, 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 go the decibels, shaking blood water in the sacred wells. Drink, drink the onyx night, inebriate stars with your golden light. Prowl the dunes in your feline delight. Lightning is your birthing cue. Prepare your womb, womb, womb. You are 1,000 ancestors dancing in the morning dew. Gather silence and cook a healing stew. Cross the mystic meadow, let go your long forgetting. Shedding, shedding, shedding. Crouch against the birthing tree. Call forth the supple Nile waters. Bring close your beloved daughters. Gush, gush, the tides of birth water breaking. Electric air on your tender tongue. Now you hum the sum of your ancient longing. Hum the sun, sun, sun. Burn your pain away. Drop your placental veil and get to seeing. Now wail and moan and shatter stone. You are birthing memory of when you rose up wet and glistening from immortal sea. Remember your infancy. Remember when you were we and we were free. Remember your diaphanous epiphany. Now you are vessel blood surging through our infinite heart. Feel the warming blanket of your artery. You are arrow and archery. Find your beat now. Drum, drum, drum. Hear it come, come, come. Obsidian in the sky, rumbling over landscape of ages, bleaching blood-stained papyrus pages, preparing a bright new emptiness for you to fill with your holy script. Grip the birthing tree, boil the sweet gum water, wail our new world out through your birth canal. Birth harmony and her sibling spirits, birth symbiosis and reciprocity, birth serenity and succulence, birth our new season of reclaimed, resurrected sacredness. Grip the birthing tree, set freedom free, and hear it come, the rippling sky majesty of your newborn voice. Its sound is thunder. Boom, 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 boom.